I did work at one company years ago that charged it, and I hated it. There was no way around it. We had to charge it. We actually had a document that they had to sign. They had to sign a buyer's agency agreement for us to get paid. And so I would have those signed. That was just their policy, but it had right on there that they were charged $150 brokerage fee. Hi everybody, today we're going to talk about a brokerage fee. Now, a brokerage fee is a fee that some real estate companies charge per transaction, and it goes to the seller and the buyer that they're working with, but only if you're working with them. So for example, let's say company A charges a brokerage fee and company B does not. So company A lists a house and the company B buyer buys the house. So the company A listing house is going to be charged a brokerage fee. The person buying the house with company B is not. Now that seller working with company A needs to buy a house. And so when they go buy a house with company A, they're going to be charged that fee again as the buyer because they use that company for a second time. Now, why are there brokerage fees? The brokerage fee really, I call it a junk fee, but what it is it's a way for the real estate company to make extra money. That's it. That's the only purpose for it. It's like another stream of income. So for example, you already have the commission. That's one stream of income. And then some companies, they'll have, preferred whatever, title companies, lenders, whatever that looks like. Well, that brokerage fee is an additional fee. And because it's becoming more and more common, and because people, I think, are probably more and more better at explaining it, we're seeing it more and more, and it's not really doing anything for the client. It's just there. And I see them in purchase contracts, and they're anywhere between $150 to like $500. I think $550 was the most expensive one that I saw. So because so many companies are doing these, a lot of realtors think that that's like normal or expected, or maybe they're even surprised if your company doesn't charge that. But the thing to remember is that that's not a fee that's getting you anything, but there's also nothing wrong with paying it, nor is it illegal to pay it. So they're not doing anything that they can't do. It's just you need to be aware of what you're getting for it. And the answer is nothing. Now, if you have a really good agent, then you are getting something. You're getting that chance to work with them. And of course, that's worth any fee. So here's an example. I have multiple agent friends who work at other companies throughout the country, and they're very, very good to the point that I would buy a house from them. I would refer them. I would be fine with that. But a lot of them have companies that charge a fee. My only request when I'm working with one of those companies and I know they charge a fee is don't charge it to my client. If I'm giving you a referral, I expect that to not come out of their pocket because that's not fair to them. And sometimes we can get that to work and sometimes we can't, because most companies, the brokers, the ones making the money, are not going to be like, oh yeah, you don't have to charge that for them. That's fine. Because again, that's an income source that they're counting on. Because if you have 10 transactions, they might not sell for the same amount of money. One could be a $75,000 sale. One could be a $750,000 sale. But they're both charged that $400 or $500, so you can see that it adds up pretty quickly per transaction, especially when you're charging both sides. So I wanted to explain that to you what it is. I'm sure you see it. I'm sure some of you have been charged it. In case you're wondering, we do not charge that at Ryder Realty. I did work at one company years ago that charged it, and I hated it. There was no way around it. We had to charge it. We actually had a document that they had to sign. They had to sign a buyer's agency agreement for us to get paid. And so I would have those signed. That was just their policy, but it had right on there that they were charged $150 brokerage fee. And the unfortunate thing was they didn't have that fee when I started working there, and then they added it. And I didn't stay there very long. But I hated charging it because I knew that it wasn't really helping them get something extra out of the company, right? So it wasn't like that was giving them free staging or anything of that sort. It was just a fee that the company charged. Now, some people might say that's the cost of doing business. And I mean, it is. It's an upcharge that you're going to have when you go through the drive-in and the drive-in, not the drive-in, when you go through the drive-through and they say, do you want to make that a large for 30 extra cents? Do you want to get a large fry? It's the same thing. So again, it's not illegal. It's not bad. It's just, you just need to be aware of what you're paying for, because that is what I want you guys to know. And again, here's your big takeaway with this. A brokerage fee is another source of income or income stream for a brokerage, and that's fine. It's not something that we charge. I feel really strongly about that, but that's fine. That's a fee that many companies do charge. But the biggest takeaway is I don't want you to not use an agent that you have a relationship with that has done good for you, that's a good person, because they charge that fee. If you've been working with Sally and she's been great and she has shown up for you and she's, gotten you all these houses she sent you that made sense for what you're looking for, great. Don't be like, hey, you know what, Sally, I'm charging you because I saw the Ryder Realty episode where they talked about a brokerage fee and I don't want to pay that. I'm not saying that. Again, I have friends that work at other companies and they charge that, and that's fine. It is what it is, whatever. However, I would just say if you're starting out and you have to find a realtor and you don't have one yet, ask that question. So you might look online and they say you need to ask your realtor this, you need to ask your realtor that, you need to ask where they advertise, you need to ask if they put it online. I have not yet seen the question that says you need to ask your broker if they or your realtor if their brokerage charges a transaction fee, a brokerage fee. Those are some of the words you might hear it called. It's all the same thing. But that could be a question to ask because you need to know and be aware for what that's costing you. So for example, if you are, you have no money down, it's super tight, you're not sure how you're going to pay your closing costs, you're kind of freaking out a little bit about paying inspections, but you're moving forward and buying a house anyway, and your brokerage fee is $400, that's a big chunk of change, and you can put it in your closing costs. I think that can be done. Just remember, though, then you're financing it. So just to be aware that maybe if you haven't picked a company or an agent to work with, when you're asking other questions about them or you're kind of seeing if it's a good fit as you're basically interviewing each other, you can ask them that and find out if they charge it and then just decide if that's what you want to do. Again, stay loyal to the ones that have been loyal to you and have taken great care of you. I'm thinking in my head a few girlfriend agents who are just phenomenal. And like I said, I would buy a house from them if I wasn't a realtor. And many of their companies charge those fees. So stay with them if they're good. Don't make that the deciding factor of whether you go with a company or not, but you need to keep that in mind of what that fee is and whether companies have it or not. So I hope that helped and gave you something to think about and just increased your knowledge on some real estate practices. That's what we want to do here. And I hope you have a great day.